And good afternoon. I'm your host, Jay Cruz, and we're talking with Aaron Sean Gray, our guest today on The Pursuit of Happiness, and talking about him turning a negative into a positive, an outstanding video that he's made that's been out for a couple years now, and very popular on YouTube and online and many other places. The video is titled, "Thanks Tobacco, You Killed My Mom," and that's Aaron Sean Gray, our guest. You can find him on MySpace / Aaron Sean Gray and Facebook at the same address. Welcome to the studio, first of all.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're able to take something with a situation with your mom and her health issues and sort of maybe make a message and let other people know that they may want to take a look at this.
Yeah, it didn't start out as a documentary. It just started out videotaping my mother because I got a video camera and I love her and I miss her, and I was 2,000 miles away living in California and she's up in Niagara Falls, Canada. And for some strange reason, just the things we talked about, even before she knew she was diagnosed with lung cancer, seemed to tie in really well as a good starting point for the documentary. I started videotaping later when she had her stroke and was in the hospital because I had family that couldn't get to her, and I felt that they would be missing a good part of my mother's last words and just sharing that love that she has to give. And so I started videotaping, and it wasn't until March when she was on her last legs that it didn't seem like I was just videotaping family now. Mm-hmm. It seemed like something switched. It seemed at the beginning it didn't seem right that I was videotaping my mother passed out and incoherent, you know. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was getting angrier at what the addiction did to my mother in the long run. And it just, a little bit of sarcastic anger came into that title, that "Thanks Tobacco, You Killed My Mom." It was basically, if tobacco was a human being, I would have literally laid him out right then and there, because it was like true hatred of a substance. Like, you can't, you know, it's an inanimate object, I understand. But the addiction and the fact that it's out there and it's legal and the government makes money off of it, and you know, I know they're taxed, and it's not about money.
It's a strange moral question, if you will, in that tobacco is legal, although there's tons of parameters. I feel bad for my friends who do smoke, who have to go certain places, only designated areas, but then I feel bad for the people that don't want to get a whiff of, you know, so I understand smokers and non-smokers. Yet it's not like it's not a cut and dry where there are certain things like, okay, narcotics are clearly illegal in society. If you're out doing them, you're going to pay the consequences. If you're a child of someone who's doing narcotics in the home, your child is probably at a very young age going to go, "Hey mom, hey dad, that's not a thing I think I want a positive role model bringing into my house." Yet tobacco and cigarettes and, you know, maybe some other things in the social realm, possibly alcohol. We're not going to get into that today, but you know, tobacco is something where you can have a smoke at work. Even though alcohol is legal, not too many people are going to go out and have a drink at lunch and come back in. So it has this sort of socially legal, yet we all know it's unhealthy, yet we accept it, yet we don't seem to. It's just weird area and this weird thing with it, and I think we all have experienced people that have continued to, for whatever reason, smoke, whether they're addicted, whether it's you know, nerves or whatever. You know, it's bottom line, it's an addiction, and many of these people probably aren't. They're strong-minded people and know it's not the best for them, yet here they are.
I know so many intelligent people, friends and family, that still smoke, even though they know this video's out there. It breaks their heart to see it. You know, I know if they could break the habit, they would. The addiction, I believe, is a lot stronger than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Before there was marketing towards the health risks for smoking,
right, there
was a lower nicotine level. And when they started campaigning against it, they upped the nicotine level because it was not FDA regulated. Made people more addicted to it. So even now that there's more ways to quit and more motivation to quit because you're scared that you're going to die of it,
right,
all of a sudden your brain's being shortcutted to the addiction, which says, I don't care, I need it now.
Let's kind of back up a little bit. You moved to California. You have some other talent. You just didn't decide to start videotaping mom one day. You used actually some of your music, film, and video skills and equipment, video camera there, and we're in a moment where you thought you should take be close to mom, but then as the kind of course went out, your creative talent sort of took over a little bit and said, this is happening, and I think I can make something out of this that might prevent possibly someone from going through the same thing.
First of all, you're mourning this. You're
Right.
not yourself. You're not your productive, happy self when you know your mother's dying of lung cancer and is sitting in a hospital bed, paralyzed from a stroke. And there's many details we could talk about that I don't want to go too far off, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I took the time to carefully edit this. It was first and foremost for family, because I wanted family that couldn't see that video to not miss a moment. It was an hour-long video, and after my wife Patty and I watched it, we decided it needs a bigger audience. First of all, I just wanted it to have as big of an impact. And my mother did want kids to not smoke. She knew my wife was a teacher, and she wanted her to tell all the students.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't really keen. She didn't know what YouTube was, so I mean, she didn't. That wasn't her final plan, but she wanted people to benefit from her suffering,
Mm-hmm.
to have a purpose for that. And when I finally edited it, I had to get it down to under 10 minutes from an hour-long video, and that's almost 3 hours of raw footage just to get down to there. So 10 minutes was a hard job. I had to watch that for about 2 weeks straight.
I was going to say that was.
And as soon as I got it done, my wife dug up some American Lung Association facts, and we put it on the end of the cemetery scenes. And I, as a musician, I felt it in my heart that there was a piece of music that suited this vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I started putting a little bit of music on the end. I was not trying to make a music video. I was not trying to push my talent in any way. I was merely just trying to make this video have as much of an impact as it can without being fake or Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a truly real video. I didn't do any takes. I didn't have a crew. It's just me and a video camera doing what people do all the time with their family.
Absolutely. And I think that having seen it and knowing a bit of the story, and then we're going to kind of get to some of the things that have happened virally since it's been out for a little while, which I definitely want to move on to. But it's, number one, bravo to you for stepping up. My father, he passed away at 44. He smoked Pall Mall Reds, lots of them. He did a few other things. So, but there was never a thought in the back of my mind to go, thanks tobacco, you killed my dad, or Pall Mall, you're not my buddy, something like that. So I handled it maybe a different way, maybe from just to get back on the horse and start riding again and make my dad proud was my way of moving on type thing, where you were able to use your talent a little bit and doing this for some other friends and family, yet with your relationship with Patty, your wife, and her being able to know what people need to see in education possibly nowadays, thinking this would be a great thing. And in essence, by doing something to make yourself feel better, maybe get through this portion of part of your life, you've actually done a lot of good for a lot of people. A lot of folks who are also in the anti-smoking arena, if you will, have taken on your work and have actually gone on to promote it as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the other sites or people that have maybe contacted you since then?
I thought it was going to begin and end online.
Mm-hmm.
It was on YouTube, and it was already getting about 10 times the amount of views than my regular music videos were getting. And I realized there's something special going on here. I mean, everybody loves music, and everybody loves film, and everybody loves seeing videos. And I thought, not too many people are going to want to click on that video of seeing somebody's mother die of lung cancer. I mean, it's not a popular video like
not the first choice when I sit out on a search engine.
Right. So I did not expect. I expected to see the views crawl.
Mm-hmm.
I figured one person out of 1,000 people might watch it, and maybe 1% of those people might even take it seriously. I didn't think it was going to be that important to people.
Right.
I mean, I knew it was important to me because it's my family, but I thought it might be icky to people because it's my family. It wasn't, it wasn't an ad for anti-smoking. It was my family experience. So I didn't think my sharing that was going to be as important to other people as it
certainly
was.
Not a mass appeal driven video, putting out there.
It went totally viral. I mean, everybody on MySpace, YouTube, Facebook, when it came in, because Facebook came in later, everybody started reposting, embedding the links on their homepages. A couple legitimate websites like SiggyFree.com, they've actually made that their centerpiece of their website. And if you just Google "Thanks Tobacco, You Killed My Mom," you're going to get countless links. I can't even keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally started getting attention from people, I had people mentioning that I have a tobacco store and I'm going to shut it down within a year because I can't be contributing to this.
Wow.
And then there was U.S. Army bases where they're using it in their health department. American Lung Association used it for training, or probably still are. And I mean, I could list a lot of things, but then finally it took taking a film course just recently that I started in February this year. The teacher, he liked my story and I wanted to do something with it. And he told me to send it in to a reporter. He gave me a connection. It turned out she didn't want to print that story, and then later I sent her the link to my video on my wife's best advice.
Uh-huh.